Okay, so we're all set. Let's do this. Why not? And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. So we're starting a few seconds early. Why not? I am in a hurry. I can't wait to start a brand new painting. But in the meantime, let's do like we always do. Let's go check out the computer, look at a quick recap of what we did, and we'll tackle our day from there. So, what did we do? Well, it was very complicated. Of course, we rolled up the painting we finished the day before, rolled out a new one, measured off what we wanted, cut it, stapled it to the wall, and because it had that shitty primer from the factory, we added another coat of gesso. So that's basically what we did on our canvas. So now that we have it all freshly gessoed and everything, we are going to, well, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw a frame around it because I love frames on my paintings, and then I'm going to turn the canvas so it's vertical. I want to work on it vertically, and then we'll just lay down the first coat to the background. So that is what we are going to do. So I am going to grab my compass, which should be in here somewhere. It's not very far. And like that, I'm going to use the compass just to measure off the distance for a frame. I would say something like that. What is that? I don't know. I'm going to use that as a reference. So what am I doing here? I don't know. It's so early. I'm not awake yet. Okay, we got this going. There, just put a little mark like that. Where the two lines cross is where I want to draw my frame. If we're off by 1/4 of an inch, it doesn't really matter. I am not that picky. Right there as well. There we have it. Let me just put a little mark here because my ruler will not make the whole length. This is a 66 inches by 47 inches, or 1.70 by 1.20. So we have that done. Let me just grab a pencil right here. Let's draw this frame before we move the canvas. There we go. Okay. And let's do this last segment, and we'll be all set, just like that. So, I know that when I stapled this canvas, I was just about out of staples. So, I am just going to go in the back room here. I'm going to grab a few more. Might as well load up the gun right away. There we go. Grab the bullets to the staple gun. Actually, I was completely out, so I guess I timed that perfectly. All right. So I am going to have to get something to stand on. This isn't going to be the most comfortable of paintings to do, but that's going to be all right. No big deal. What am I doing here? Let me just get rid of this over here. And I'm going to use this big paint can to stand on. Let me get rid of the staples that we had down below. Now I have a choice. Either I go low and be comfortable up here, or I go a little bit higher and stand on the can and use my chair to get the lower end. And I think I'm going to go with that second solution, using my chair to get the lower parts done, and then just stand on the can to do the upper part. So let me just get rid of these other little staples right there. Here's another one. I mean, these staples are, I would say, not even 3/16 in depth. I don't get those big staples. I just need to tack these guys. I don't need to go through the wall, of course. And let's get this last one here. And now I can turn this. So I'm going to use a mark that I have down below this black line as a reference. Well, actually, I see there's a line right up here. I must have done another painting more or less at this same height. So I'm going to use that as a reference, and I'm going to step back, make sure these lines are nice and vertical. That doesn't look too bad. It's funny, but the top line looks a little bit off. But the vertical lines look pretty damn good. So, is it just an optical illusion? Am I just lopsided and crooked myself? I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it like that, though. Like I said, it doesn't really matter at this point. Nobody will ever notice it. So, there we go. Might as well maybe put one more here. And one more right there. So, we got that pretty much together. And yes, I'm happy. Work this way a little bit. That'd be pretty cool. So what I'm going to start off by doing is doing my guy right there. And so what am I going to do? So this is going to be a short stream because all we're going to do is lay down the first coat of the background color. So not going to be too bad. So let me just get a pencil. I'm going to draw in the figure to my TheZenRebel there, my nuclear guy with the mask. And I'm going to put him in the lower left-hand corner looking up. That's what I feel like doing. That's what I see. So maybe have him like, well, I'm off to a bad start right there. I've only done 150 of these guys. 150, what am I kidding? I did thousands. Okay, so. Okay, this is just to give me an idea, rough idea. It doesn't have to be quite like that. No, it doesn't bother me. It looks pretty good. I'll just do that second eyeball right here, just to, so I don't draw it out. Maybe I'll fix this part right here right away also. Let's see what this gives. Really, there's no, I don't know why I'm wasting my time doing this. It's not really. Okay, so that's definitely better. And this, we'll just worry about this one. It's time to paint that guy. Okay, so we have that. We have him done. Now all I need to do is put the background color. And I'm going to just take a second to think this out. Suddenly, I just feel like doing something a little different, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to just start painting right there, the background in gray. So I'm going to start that off right now. Just going to grab a palette here. Cleaning it off, peeling the old paint. Well, here, I'll actually go on camera number 1. We can do this together. I always find this fascinating. And as you can see, I'm just trying to peel off the old paint that's on this cap. And it just peels off, as you can see, because the binder to the pigments is a polymer emulsion and gives it, it's just plastic. So when you put the acrylic paints on a non-porous surface, well, when it's all dry and if it's thick enough, it will just peel off just like that. Gives you a brand new palette to use. So that is pretty cool. So I'm going to grab that white paint then, right here. Oof, nicely sealed off. My knife, where are you, my knife? There you are. So just a little bit of white paint. I don't have that much of a surface to do. I'm going to start off with the paint, and then eventually I might just knife this on. Like that, it gives it a nice rich texture as well. Let's see, let me just add a little more white paint there. Very good. I'm going to rinse off my knife. And then I'm going to grab some black paint. Where's the black? Right here. Put the black on the side. I'm going to start off with a light gray, and then little by little I will put in some darker gray spots and patches, I should say, maybe. And then add the knife to it afterwards. So, what do I need? I need my chair to do this. I'm going to bring camera number 1 a little closer. There we go, even though I'm going to put it way on the side, because I don't want to, definitely do not want to be in front of, I don't want to be in front of the lens. So let me do it like that. Okay, so I'm all set. Now, what brush am I going to use? So I think I might use this brush, kind of a rough-haired brush, one of my favorite brushes that I use quite often. And where am I going to go? I'm going to go kind of like up and there, right about here, I guess. And then I'm going to have some flames on the background with some plants. We'll figure it out as we go along. Let me just get this brush nice and wet. There we go. Let's work this as well. There we go. I'll start off with kind of a light gray, as I just mentioned. And we'll mix all this as we go along. So let's just switch over then camera number 1. Let's get the outline done, which I'm going to start somewhere right here. Something like that. Get the outline to my guy right here, which doesn't really matter because when we paint, he'll go over this color. And I might as well just map out the whole area that we're going to be painting right now. Why not? There we go. So we got our area that we're going to want to work with right there. And now we can just start putting down little patches of color, just like that. Vertical lines. Get a little different color here, a little darker grays right in here like that. Like that. Of course, I'm going to go on top of this with my knife just to give it a nice texture to it. Just crisscross everything. Yes, we are going for a destroyed city after a war. Because there's wars on the east, wars in the west, wars up north, down south, war. Rumors of war. Just like that. All this to blend in and make a nice chaotic scene, which is what we want. see if I can get a little bit down with my knife like that. See how the knife gives it just a great texture. Adds to the chaos. And I am out of paint, so let me just add a little more white. After that, I clean off my knife, of course. Don't want to get any black paint in this white. There we go. I don't need that much. That should do the trick. And I will maybe just add a little more black paint just to make sure that I have plenty of variety. Again, cleaning off the knife. Don't want to get any white paint in the jar of black paint. So, get all this ready, then I'll just go back and knife on the rest. I can just basically blend this in together on my cap here, on my palette. And let's tackle this. It's got all night to dry, so and this will give it a beautiful texture, as I mentioned. So I don't want this to be too dark in some areas, because on top of that there's going to be all the windows, the broken windows that will go on top of those. And you have to learn when to say, I'm done. So that's where I'm at right now. Just a little bit right up here. Get closer to the edges. And I will say that I'm done. Let me just add just a whisker right here. And down here. Very good, just like that. Maybe I'll just go over this one area here, which I think is a little too dark. Too dark to see. It's like I'm a knocking on the heaven's door. Okay. Again, I don't want the background to be too dark, as I just mentioned, because I will have those windows on top of that. All right, so we have this done. Very good. Now on top of this, I am going to have some flames and fire going on. But I'm not going to paint that in right away, because obviously I have the paint that's all wet here. I'm just going to draw it just to have an idea, so that like that, I'm going to have some fire going on right in here. I'm going to, as I just mentioned, draw it first, and then I'm going to do the background colors. So, let me pull this baby back a little bit. I'm going to do it lightly on pencil, so you might not even see it on the camera. I'll put the dual cameras on. This is just to give me some sort of idea, of course. Everything is going to look very different. And I do want to, like that. I love swirls and circles and stuff like that, so we'll just have that just like that. Just to have an outline so I know where to stop when I'm painting my, my background. So even here maybe just a hint of more flames right there. Who knows, right there as well, why not? So, very good. I'm just going to erase this line so I don't screw up later. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? Sure. Okay, very good. So let me get this palette out so I don't get it all over myself. Lord knows I wouldn't want to dirty myself. And now we are going to do the rest in green. So I have my green paint right here. What is this? Ah, it's the same green. Well, we are going to do a little interlude right here. Let me bring this camera over here because I know that within a few minutes I am going to start bitching like crazy. And what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about these kind of cans of paint, these jars of paint, which are not too expensive. That's why I use them. They're flexible when they dry, so you can roll them up, they won't crack, and they're pretty good. The only problem is the packaging. They package them in these jars that to get beyond where your knife can reach, of course, too small to put a spoon, can't get the paints when they get below a certain level, and it's a real pain in the neck. You get it all over your knuckles and whatever. So what I kind of do with these jars, I transfer them into a larger jar where you can get the last drop. So that is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to just take a few seconds. I'm going to cut this open with my knife, grab a spoon, and I am going to transfer this like that for the rest of the, well, until I run out of green paint. I won't bitch every time I have to pull it out of the jar and get it all over myself. So I'd rather take a few minutes and do that right now. And as you all know by now, that this stream is to share everything that goes on in the studio, and this is one of the things that goes on the studio. So let me just move this camera over. We can do this together. And I'm going to try not to cut my fingers. I wouldn't want to have some sort of a tragedy right here online. So let me just switch over to camera number 1. There we go. And I'm going to cut this baby open, I would say right about here. There we go, already having some paint spill over, but that's okay. There we go, shit. Did get a little bit on my table, no big deal. I am gonna scoop it up because there's no way in the world I'm gonna wanna waste anything. So let me just grab my spoon out, clean off the top of the jar first. Get everything I can get out of this. I've seen the prices of materials, And the amount of paint that I use, there is no way I'm going to waste anything. And let me get where's my knife? Where are you hiding, my dear? Okay, first of all, I'm going to clean off my cutter right here. There. Well, I might as well wipe off the paint. There we go. Okay, got that clean. Where's my knife? Where are you? What did I do with you? Oh, you're right here. Okay, so I'm going to use that. I'm just going to scoop up that paint right there. Very good. And let's transfer the rest of this in the jar. Just like that. There we go, green icing for the cake. So, take a few seconds to scrape all the edges, get every little drop I can. I don't want to waste even a spoonful. There we go. Well, that is pretty good. I don't see how I could scrape anymore unless I had one of those rubbery cooking spatulas, but I don't. So, goodbye, my friend. There, we got this. Smooth it all out, just like we were putting icing on a cake. And wipe my fingers off. Wipe off the knife, though we're going to be using it, I guess, in a few seconds to put green paint on the palette. No, maybe I'll just use the spoon. Wait, I think I can do a better job cleaning this knife. Okay. Always got to be careful putting the bracelet. Putting the bracelet in the paint, putting my hair in the paint. Gotta watch out for all these loose ends. I will move camera number 1 back to where we'll be using it next, which is gonna be on the canvas. Might as well pull it back and to the side again so I'm not in front of the lens. And now I need a palette. And this is going to do just fine. It's green, so I don't have to worry about it. And, okay, got that all done. And what am I going to do next? I know what I'm going to do next. I am going to go over I'm going to go way over to my kitchen sink, which is back in this colorful little area right here, and I'm going to wash off my spoon rather than use a rag. There we go. Okay. Got all that cleaned off, very good. So we are back to square one. which is getting the green palette ready and full of paint. So, well, that was kind of stupid. I guess I'm doing everything in... Anyways, let's get this paint right here. I'll put quite a bit of it. I might have to add more paint because I have quite a bit of surface to do, but it doesn't matter. This is of no more use. Can go back there, and I'll rinse off my knife once again, get rid of the green paint. Cover up my jar of green paint. And now I have to pick the right paintbrush. And since this is going to be the first coat, it doesn't really matter. So I think I might just use this fairly new brush. So, a lot of this background is going to be covered up afterwards. So what should I do? I have to think about this for a few seconds. It's a good time maybe to get a swig of water. And by that, come back maybe right here. Keep forgetting today. I'm thinking about this painting. Not sure, since I'm improvising what I'm going to do, I'm also thinking a lot and therefore neglecting to move the cameras. I'm always in the conflict of how I used to paint when I did posters, which was to do all the foreground first and then do the background afterwards, which is exactly what they teach you not to do in schools, right? You do the background first and you work your way to the front, which is what I do also. But I'm always ping-ponging back and forth between those two styles of painting. So that's why here, once again, I'm hesitating. Should I go with the poster type of paint job, or should I go with the more traditional? And apparently I'm going to go with the more traditional. It does take longer to do it the other way. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, I know one thing. The more I think about it, the more confused I'm going to get. So let's just tackle this whole thing. And what I'm going to do first is get the paint to be the right consistency, the right texture to lay down on the canvas. So I'm just going to mix it, blend in with water. I'm going to have to do this several times because I can tell I'm going to need quite a bit of paint. And it was pretty cloudy today. They announced rain. Now I see the sun is coming out. It is definitely warming up. I can feel it. If I had known that, I would have changed shirts and put on my painting t-shirt and get rid of this. But this is my clean shirt, and there is no way in the world I want to get stains on that, so I have to put this on, and now I'm really toasty here. So now that I've told you all my secrets about my wardrobe, let's work on this paint. Now I'm going to have to put 2 coats, or I keep saying this every time I work on the background of my paintings, or the foregrounds for that matter. I always need to have 2 coats for 2 reasons. 1, to hide the brush strokes, and 2, to make the colors more vivid. So just going to work this for a few seconds. This looks pretty good right there. I guess I'll just make sure that there's no water left in the paintbrush that could eventually drip and I lose control of it. So just squeeze out all the excess water, which is like that. And now I am going to start on that upper left-hand corner and work my way down to make sure I don't put my hands in the painting. So let me grab this. I'll zoom in a little bit on camera number 1. There we go. So, tackling a new painting. Let's do this. Okay, I'm doing what I consider the hard part first, getting the edges of our frame mapped out. There we go, a nice straight line. And then we can just go back and basically do some house painting. There's no way I can't hide these brush strokes on the first coat, so we'll do the house painting technique, which is painting a W and filling in between, right? Just like that. Let me move the camera over a little bit more so I know it distorts everything a little bit, but I don't like being in front of the lens. So let's continue. W, and we fill it in. Just like if we were painting, I don't know what, the kids' room. Though if they painted them in green, it'd be a little rough on the eyes, I would think. Okay, I gotta move over a little bit. There we go, and I guess I can also move the camera over just a little bit as well. Just like that. And let's tackle this left right side and map out the frame first. Okay, so we're getting very close to where the flames are going to be, so I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to do this part right here. So I've been listening to the first album of Led Zeppelin, an album that I kind of grew up with and that I haven't heard in, since like the early 70s. And I listened to it again yesterday and today, the second album of Led Zeppelin, and I just couldn't believe how good those albums were. What a great band. What true masterpiece of albums. So let's continue, make a W, and fill it in. I don't know what that was, but take it off. There we go. With my luck, that would be the only spot that would show. Everything's going to get covered up. So let's again get a nice W going here. And we'll fill it in. Just like that. And when you're doing this kind of painting, it is so much fun, really. You know, I love it. Just love it. Okay. So this is the part we're going to want to be careful about. So I'll just start off right here. It doesn't matter because the flames will go on top of this, of course. But still, not a good reason to become and be sloppy. So let's do it like this. There we go. This is just the outline. No need for me to be this picky. I don't know why I'm doing that. I always do. Okay, so we'll worry about that. I need to sit down to do the rest. So I'll just continue with the top part. And I am running out of green paint, so I'll try to do as much as I can, get down to these where the flames will be. And then I'll have to make a little more paint just to finish this area here, which is fine because like that I can change paint brushes to have a little more control. So let's just start off right here like this. A little W right there. Again, I need to be sitting down, so I'm not going to insist. Just going to do this part right here. And then I'll make a little more painting, switch brushes, and we'll get to the rest of these details. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so let's just make a little bit more green paint. And I will switch paint brushes, so I might as well pick the right brush right away and have them soak. Something like this maybe. Let's try that one. And what am I doing? Looking for my green paint. When I put way back there, grab my faithful knife. And I think that will be plenty of green. let's take a few seconds here. Relax, Pierre. And keep the materials nice and clean. I know you're anxious, but still. There we go. Okay, so we got that together. Let me again mix a little bit of water with my green paint to get that right texture. Get my friggin' hair out of the way. There we go. There we go. Let's just work this paint. There, that looks pretty good. I'll switch over to this thinner brush right now. Move the stool, which is nothing more than a paint can. Bring my chair over. I will start painting these flames here, I guess. Again, this is the first coat, so you will see a lot of these brush stroke marks, but we don't really care, do we? Of course not. What was that? I don't know, something fell over there. A lot of these flames, of course, are going to be orange, red, and the orange doesn't cover that well. That's why I'm leaving it white, so that the colors will be more resilient, more brilliant. Oops, kind of screwed up my guy right there. It doesn't matter either, because that is just going to be painted over as well. Like that. Let me just move my little chair around. Do the outline to the head here. Just like that. There we go. Okay, so let me just stand back here. Okay, very good, very good. So, wow, my frame is pretty wide. I didn't think it was going to be that wide. Does it matter? Absolutely not. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with a red frame. So you know what? I'm going to put that first coat of red paint for the frame right now. That is what I'm going to do. And you know what? I am going to use the same brush as I did for the green paint. So that means I'm going to go back to my little kitchen area back there and do like before, clean it off at the sink. So it's just going to take a few minutes. Bear with me. I will just switch cameras like that. You can make sure that you can see what I'm doing, that I'm not cracking open a beer or whatever. There we go, a little soap. I definitely do not want to get any green paint in my red. So I'm going to be kind of brutal with the brush, make sure that I get everything out of there. As you know, most of the paint gets caked up by the wood of the handle. So that's where you got to be brutal, no pity. And I have no pity. I crushed it. The brush, the hairs, my... Plus, these are the kind of brushes that you find 3 of them, 3 brushes for $5. You know, one of these cheap kind of stores. But they're handy for what we're doing right now. And the main thing is that they are cheap. Yes. So what am I going to do? I'm going to first of all put the excess green paint back in the jar. Because we are thrifty here. We are thrifty. So let's get all that back in here. Very good. There we go. Of course, tomorrow we're going to have to be doing exactly the same thing we're doing now. There's no avoiding it. There is no avoiding it. And then after that, we're going to be putting shadows on our background before we add the details to the background. So everything is kind of short streams. What is that? What has it been? It's been like an hour already. Jesus, feels like 20 minutes. An hour already. Okay. No big deal. I'm in no rush. And I'm doing the thing I love to do the most. So, where am I? I'm probably on the wrong camera still. Yes, I am, of course. Sorry about that, folks. So, let's pull this baby up. I'm going to do like I always do, start my frame on the upper left-hand side and work my way around. Going to get this green palette out of the way, get the red paint out, and I'm going to use the cap of the red paint as a palette. So, and this as well is going to need 2 coats before we put the shading to it. So come on, let me put 4 big spoons worth, because we will always put the excess back into the jar if need be. So let me get a clean jar of water right here. There we go. And like before, we're going to add water, get the right texture, consistency to the paint so it just glides on the way it should. Yet since it is red paint, what we have to be careful is make sure that we don't lose the opacity. I mean, obviously we're going to see the brush strokes, but we don't want to see through. See, wow, Pierre-Alex. Hey.
Direct on the live.
Live, en couleur. Bonjour tout le monde. Oui.
T'es en pleine conférence?
Ben oui, je suis en direct. Yes, en live. Je pensais à toi aujourd'hui. Je disais, attends, on est le combien? Non. Encore 3-4 jours avant qu'il arrive.
Ça va, mon ami?
Oui, ça va et toi?
Bon.
Ça va?
Dis à tes millions de fans qu'il faut qu'ils attendent 2 secondes. Que là, il y a
Ben, t'inquiète pas, ils s'en foutent. Attends, je vais tourner la caméra, au moins ils savent à qui je parle, quoi. Parce qu'ils pensent souvent que j'invente. Alors,
des amitiés.
voilà.
Ça va?
Ouais, ça va.
Bon, nickel.
Donc, alors, t'es passé chez toi déjà?
Toujours pas, j'étais chez Joël.
Ah,
j'ai
très
laissé
bien.
la voiture au diable par là-bas parce que c'est gratos.
Oui,
Il faut que je retrouve mes automatismes.
bien sûr.
Je suis un peu perdu, je sais plus.
Il est où ton scooter?
Vendu à Joël et à son copain.
Ah, très bien.
Deuxième copain.
D'accord. Je me suis posé la question en me demandant où tu l'avais garé cette
Je l'avais
fois-ci.
garé chez Isabelle, dans la vallée
À
Pessica. Et puis
D'accord.
le hasard fait que Joël, l'ami de Joël a voulu un scooter. Et puis voilà.
D'accord. Bah,
Au moment
super.
où Pierre-Alex me dit je vais voir ton scooter, j'ai pensé tout de suite à ça, et je lui en ai parlé effectivement. Ça s'est fait dans la pluie.
Voilà, puis là je viens voir un peu tout ce que je dois déménager, entre ici, l'appartement.
Bon, bah, ça va, t'as pas trop. Quand
Non,
même.
ça va, ça va. Ça va,
Donc ça va, je vais garder ses affaires au chaud.
Oui.
Ah.
Bon, ça va, toi
Depuis 2 ans.
Ouais, moi ça va, ouais, bien sûr, ouais.
Ouais, ça va, ça a l'air. Ça a l'air.
Oui, ça, je vais bien.
Ton fils?
J'avoue. Lui aussi, là, il vient de taper 17 ans.
Ah,
Donc, ouais, ça commence ça pousse. 17 piges, mais lui il va bien aussi. Il fait de l'horlogerie, il s'est lancé dans l'horlogerie. Donc,
ça génial, moi, tous ces de reprendre. Tu sais, il y a plein de métiers comme ça qui...
bah, il paraît qu'il y a une demande dingue pour ça. Parce que c'est pas que les montres, c'est aussi les clochers,
Ouais, c'est ça.
l'horlogerie, il y a tout plein.
Je sais pas, c'est le confinement qui a... Ça a été un truc positif du confinement. Tous ces métiers, tous ces trucs, le renouveau des villages, de tout.
Ouais.
C'est vraiment génial. Ah, c'est bien. Ouais.
Bon, on te laisse peut-être si tu veux.
Bah, éventuellement, je vais me mettre à bosser. Hein, parce que...
Et on se voit, t'es là, de toute façon, moi je
Ouais,
suis toujours.
Oui, bah, bien sûr. Pourquoi tu pars tout de suite là?
Voilà, on va profiter un peu du
Ouais,
soleil. Il y a
ouais.
absolument pas de soleil, mais la mer, par
C'est
exemple.
un coup,
Oui.
il fait chaud, un coup, tu vois.
Oui, exactement, c'est ce que je viens de dire à l'antenne.
Tout à l'heure, on
Qu'est-ce que je vous disais?
À l'antenne, tu leur as dit, ouais.
Bah oui, parce que j'ai gardé cette chemise, après je l'ai regretté, j'aurais dû mettre mon t-shirt, puis...
Puis après, t'as eu pas Pierre, on était à poil et on a remis les pull.
On va aller voir la mer, mais je repasse là encore en.
D'accord. Bah, je suis là, bah, je reste, après il faut que je fasse mon montage, 2-3 trucs, mais je vais pas rester trop tard, il faut que j'aille à la pharmacie. Mais je suis là au moins jusqu'à 5h30.
Bon, écoute, sinon on verra dans la.
Bah, sans ça, on est là, oui, passe demain, quoi, t'as rien à faire. Alors.
Non, je suis revenu pour. Parce que demain, je dois rester chez moi, il y a des experts qui passent, parce qu'ils. Bon, bref.
Ah.
Je suis obligé de.
À ton appart, tu veux
Dans
dire?
l'appartement, dans le studio, jusqu'à ce que l'expert passe, ou l'avocat.
Il t'a donné un créneau?
Bah non, justement.
Ah.
C'est demain.
Ah oui, voilà.
Mais comme je fais partie des premiers, parce qu'ils commencent par le haut, il faut que j'y sois vraiment à 9h.
Oui, bien
Je pense
sûr.
que je vais être libéré en fin de matinée.
Tu dors chez Joël?
Non, je dors chez moi.
Ah d'accord.
J'ai-
Ah, chouette, tu vas. J'ai entendu qu'il y a de la techno chez toi, ça va être génial. Moi j'ai appelé les flics pour chez moi à cause du nouveau resto en
Non.
bas. J'ai des jeunes qui ont repris le truc à Malo à Valrose.
Oui,
Un petit peu. Plus bas de Valrose, sur Boriglione.
Oui, et alors il y a un resto.
Il y a un resto pris par des jeunes et ils mettent la musique, même pendant le confinement, quoi. Après 9h, techno à fond, et jusqu'à 2-3 heures du matin, une fois, tout un week-end. Ils avaient laissé la musique, ils se cassaient chez eux en laissant la musique. Alors je leur ai dit une fois, je leur ai dit 2 fois, et là j'ai appelé les flics, là, et depuis c'est calme.
Ah ben, t'aurais dû dû faire avant, mais t'as raison. C'est
Bah
bien.
oui, mais enfin, j'aime pas trop.
Non, mais
Je préfère
bien sûr,
parler.
Bien sûr, mais quand tu parles une fois de
Oui,
temps.
ouais, exactement. Et là, ils l'ont fait jusqu'à 3 heures du matin. Et 2-3 jours, un petit peu les autres soirs. Puis je me suis dit, non, non, allez, laisse tomber, il est minuit et demi. Qu'est-ce que ça va être quand il n'y a plus de confinement?
Ouais,
Il est été,
ça.
ça va être, ils vont faire la teuf. Il y en a un qui doit dormir sur place, c'est pas possible, je comprends pas. Puis quand ils sortent de là, ils parlent devant ma fenêtre, ça discute sur le trottoir. Donc voilà. Mais enfin, je pense que ça les aide. C'est un resto, un burger truc, mais ils font une terrasse avec des cocktails, des trucs comme ça. Mais c'est entre eux, ils ferment les rideaux, puis ils continuent à faire la fête chez eux.
Mais bon. Là, ça a été gentil parce qu'ils se faisaient prendre, c'est interdit, donc les rassemblements encore, on est encore au couvre-feu. Hein.
Ben, c'est ce que je lui ai dit au type, mais ça, il y avait encore le gros couvre-feu. Je lui ai dit, mais j'étais là, j'avais le doigt sur le téléphone, pas appeler les flics, puis j'ai décidé non. Je lui ai dit.
Je crois qu'il y a de la cocaïne là.
Oh, j'y ai pensé aussi, mais là, je veux.
Il y en a partout, alors.
Bah oui, mais enfin bon, quand même.
Il y a une histoire de coca. Il y a beaucoup à faire pour vous. Je vous dis ça comme ça.
Non, non, parce qu'ils prennent mon nom et tout.
Ah non, mais maintenant tu sais qu'il y a les flics. Maintenant je le sais. Parce que quand tu te fais piquer maintenant, c'est que les flics, c'est le copain de flic qu'on leur a raconté. Donc il est venu, il s'est fait arrêter, il allait acheter du cannabis à la je sais pas où. Les flics l'ont arrêté. Il leur a donné tout de suite le truc. Et les flics, ce qu'ils lui ont demandé, c'est est-ce que la marchandise est bonne? Est-ce qu'ils vous ont donné la quantité qu'il faut? Tu sais pourquoi? Parce qu'ils sont en cheville et qu'ils prennent leur truc. Ils veulent savoir si les mecs étaient réglo. Non mais c'est... Ben maintenant, ça fonctionne comme un pari, je veux te dire.
Bon, bien,
Bon allez, très
Ouais,
bien.
ça marche, à bientôt.
Attends, voilà, je vais.
Pourquoi? Non mais oui, non, je sais, j'avais oublié.
Regarde mon affiché.
So that was my friend Peter Alex, who is one of the founders of this building with me, opened this building 16 years ago with me and lives in Senegal now, and he's back for 10 days, so, and I hadn't seen him like in over a year or so. And I didn't expect him today. I thought he was going to come later on during the week, so that is why we interrupted our painting to do a little bit of talking. Oops, again, I'm in front of the goddamn lens. So, let's finish this up, then we're done for the day. So, how come I'm always in front of this lens? Maybe I should pull it back and zoom in like that. I'm sure not to be in the way. Like that. How does that work? Take a look at the computer, make sure that the lens and the computer are, in my mind, are on the same wavelength. I don't have to touch the green paint with my red because there will be a black background there, so no need for me to be picky, plus there'll be that second coat of red as well. There we go. So let me pull the camera back a little bit. We'll come over to this left-hand side right there. I'll pull it back just a whisker. There we go. There we go. Go down below, I'll grab my chair. Right there. Grab my chair. Let's go to the dual camera. I hope I have enough paint to finish this. I should. Well, it's going to be tight. So let me do this as well. There we go. There we go. Trying to stretch this paint as far as I can. There'll be a black edge as well on the bottom right here and right there. So, let me put this baby away. There we go, come back here. Where am I? To number 5. Number 5 on my shortcut of my keyboard. And let me bring camera number 1 over here. I'll pull it back just a little bit so we can get the whole works. Okay. Yep, drip, drip. A little bit of water there. Doesn't matter. Fortunately, it's not over my painting. It's on the frame. There we go. And I'll sit down and bring this in. I'll zoom in a little bit so I'm not in the way again. Just like that. And I'll switch over to camera number 1 for the final mile. There we go. There will be that black outline there, so there's no need for me to do what I'm doing, but I can't help myself. There we go. Okay, very good. I'll put the last of the red paint back in its can. There we go. Put the brush to soak. I'll wash it in a few seconds when we're all done. And so, oh God, now I couldn't understand why this camera would look so dark. And it's normal. I forgot to switch it back. Jesus, really unprofessional. Unbelievable. Anyways, so, boy, oh boy, oh boy. There we go. Let me pull this back as well. I'll pull the camera even further back so we can see the whole painting. And this will conclude today's paint job. Let me get that. There we go. Can I move this out of the way? Well, not quite. Okay, well, screw it. That's the way it's going to be. Let's do it like this then. Okay, so that concludes today's painting. So, let me get out of the way. So that's what it looks like when you're looking on camera number 2. And this is camera number 1. There we go. So, very good. So, that comes to the conclusion of today's paint. Tomorrow we're going to be doing exactly the same thing, except for the gray part. That will be done, but we'll have to put a second coat of green, a second coat of red, and there is no way of not doing that. So I am going to conclude like I always do with little reverence to the forces of nature, just for the simple reason that I am happy of this awareness that I am alive and that life is so precious. There we go. A little thanks and praises to the forces of nature. You know, like electromagnetism, the weak and strong nuclear force, gravity, those forces that make the whole cosmos work. Anyways, my friends, I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll join me tomorrow as well. I will be on Facebook Live under TheZenRebel. Tomorrow is Thursday, so my stream will be in French. The perfect opportunity for you to brush up on your French. Anyways, once again, I'll be back here in English on Friday, but first of all, I'm going to leave you like I always do with 2 things. I'm going to leave you with my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.